what I understand, they actually hold the record for the most words that they've memorized, even over like the African grays or the Amazon parrots. I think the record is held by a budgie, by a parakeet, of over 1,000 words that they've memorized. So, pretty smart little buggers.
Why are some of them lighter?
That would be just whether it's recessive or dilute gene. If you go to the pet store, you see all different colors now, and that's just humans kind of breeding. You'll have, anything has recessive and dilute genes, and if you breed for that, then eventually you'll come up with some different colors. So that's where all the different shading and different colors come from. They're recessive or dilute genes that they've kind of exploited for the pet trade. Alright, wait for our gate to shut. Now if you look way over there, does anybody recognize what's on the other side of the lake over there?
No.
Takin. Szechuan takin. These are actually a goat antelope from China. And takin are all native to the same area of the planet, which is Bhutan, northern India, northern China. Some of them live upwards of about 15,000 feet in the tallest mountains in the world, of course, the Himalayas. Now we have Szechuan takin here at the wild, so they are from northern China. And we do have the largest herd, natural breeding herd of Szechuan takin in the world outside of China. So we actually had the Chinese scientists came here and lived with us at the wild and studied our natural breeding herd of Szechuan takin. A little easier here than at those higher elevations in China. And while they were here, we helped design a tracking collar as well as develop some anesthesia protocols for them to use on the wild population. So hopefully we may get a glimpse of a takin a little bit more closely. A lot of people that work here, that ends up being their favorite animal out here. Of course, we love all the animals, of course, but you can't help but have a few that you're really partial to. So for a lot of people, it's the takin, because there's really no other animal quite like them. Well, we're coming to our second sally port, and that tells us we're actually leaving these exotic herbivore pastures. We're going to head through their perimeter, that nearly 700-acre, so keep a lookout for native species. We already caught a glimpse of the bison over on the western part of this perimeter, but we might see some white-tailed deer. You might get a glimpse of a bobcat, a coyote, a fox. So keep a lookout for some native species. Now we also do a lot of work and research with several native species that aren't necessarily on the public tour, one of which is called the burying beetle. Burying beetle is a fascinating insect. Even if you're not big into bugs, check out their life cycle. And we're one of a handful of facilities that are working with burying beetles, one of the first insects listed on the endangered species list. Another native that we do a lot of work with is called the eastern hellbender. Hellbenders are a type of native salamander, an aquatic salamander, type of amphibian. And hellbenders can actually grow to nearly 29 inches long and live for about 30 years. So that is a native amphibian. One of their nicknames is the Allegheny alligator because they can get so very, very large. So a lot of different zoos and facilities in Ohio working with hellbender. There's like a hellbender project. We work with all of those as well as closely with West Virginia and with our hellbenders. So there is a hellbender conservation center here. The wild is actually just to the right as you walk towards the visitor center. And we have some different hellbenders you can view through the windows at the hellbender center. Now we do have many different departments that work very hard out here to really make this a world-renowned facility. And I'll mention just a few of them as we head to carnivore. We have our wildlife and conservation medicine department. That is the veterinary department. And the animal management department are the folks that do the research and study on the animals as well as take care of every individual animal that we manage and maintain. We also have an excellent, wonderful education department that has their own part of the facility that offer many different wonderful camps for children, young adults, and even families. Especially during the summer months, we have what's called Wilma Camp, and that's for ages 8 up to 18, and they come out The older kids will be out, spend the entire week, stay overnight. Younger kids, 2 or 3 nights. They get an excellent opportunity to learn more about conservation and have a lot of fun doing it. So check out all the educational programs here at the Wild. Now you may have caught a glimpse of a couple of equids up there to the left. That is where the bachelor herdish of all sea stallions live. That's the man cave up there. And then based on the recommendations from their species survival plan, one of them will be put in with the bears. Now I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the onagers and the artificial insemination with them, we have just finished artificial insemination with Przewalski wild horses, so we'll see how successful we are. Hang on, this is really bouncy right here. Alrighty, we got through it. Now another very busy department that I do like to talk about quite a bit is called restoration ecology, and those folks do the research on how the land is adapting over the years to something as devastating as surface mining. They do stream enhancement, wetlands restoration, planted nearly 12,000 native trees, close to 800 acres of native prairie, plant all the native wildflowers that we see at Lake Trail, carnivore, and the butterfly habitat, as well as trying to find cost-effective ways to remove invasive plants. And as you see on both sides of the road here, autumn olive, those invasive bushes that get so very thick and dense that no other plants can really grow up underneath them. Now I'm going to point out another invasive plant. They're actually all around us, by the way, but we'll point out another one because this time of year it's pretty easy to spot them. It's going to be a tree. We've got one right here to the left. You see the tree with the seeds on it? See the very thin, smooth gray bark? That is a lantus, or tree of heaven. And that is an invasive tree from China. And what we're doing here at the Wild with Atlantis, the U.S. Department of Forestry has selected the Wild to be one of their test sites where they're experimenting with a native fungus. We believe that if you inject it into that tree of heaven, we'll kill that particular tree without damaging the native trees around it. So we are hoping that will be a biological weapon that we can use in our site with Atlantis, or tree of heaven. Now, a lot of the public really don't realize how problematic invasive species are. It's estimated that in the U.S. alone, we spend about $34 billion every year dealing with invasive species and the problems that they create. So it really is a very, very serious problem. Now, we do have 2 overnight areas here at the Wild. We have Nomad Ridge, and then we have the Lodge, and this is Lodge Lake. If you look way up in the far right corner, you see the dock area, the swimming area, and then the lodge itself is just up the hill a little bit. Sleeps up to 12 people, fully equipped kitchen, screened-in deck. It's got Wi-Fi, a fireplace, its own private beautiful lake there, which you can swim and fish and boat in. And the lodge is available year-round, so you can lease that out any time of the year, any month of the year. The other overnight area, of course, Nomad Ridge. We'll discuss that when we can see it on the hillside towards the end of the tour. But then we also have some exciting news. We had a very generous donation from a local family that is allowing us to build 7 cabins and a small conference center so that we can partner up with an organization based in California called the Mighty Oaks Warrior Project. And what those folks do is they bring in professionals from different fields and work with veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. And so what we'll be doing here at the Wild, so when those cabins are completed in 2018, for 1 week out of every month, those cabins will only be available for the Mighty Oaks and the veterans, but the other weeks out of the month, those cabins will be available for the public to lease out. So it truly is a win-win for everyone, and we're very, very grateful for that local family for donating that sum of money to allow us to partner up, as well as offer another overnight facility or options for the public. Now, we also have a conservation fund here at the Wild, so if you do purchase a food or beverage item or even a souvenir gift, if the cashier should ask if you'd like to round up to the next whole dollar, all of those pennies, nickels, dimes, whatever you can spare, do go to the conservation fund and help to support the animals here at the Wild. And it's another way you can really help us out. Well, we've arrived arrived at the mid-sized carnivore center, and it's called mid-size because we have 3 medium-sized predators. We have cheetahs, African painted dogs, and a little-known Asiatic wild dog called the dhole, D-H-O-L-E. Dholes are native to different parts of Asia, and we currently have 3 dholes, 2 males and a female, and they do tend to be rather shy, so they are normally at the far end of their pastured area. Second of our threesome out here, the cheetah. I think we're all pretty familiar with cheetah as being the fastest land mammal, capable of close to 70 miles an hour. They've also been observed going 0 to 60 miles an hour in about 3 seconds. However, they can only carry that speed for just a few hundred yards before they actually have to rest afterwards. Now, there are approximately, under 10,000 cheetah left in the world. Most of the wild populations in parts of Africa, but there is still a wild population left in the Middle East and Iran. Now, we currently have 6 cheetah here at the wilds, and 3 of them, I believe, are in the public viewing pastures. The others are back in our cheetah intensive breeding area. Now, the final member of our trio out here, the African painted dogs, they are endangered, and each of them are beautifully marked. There are no 2 that have the same wonderful pattern of marking. And we have 9. We had a litter this past winter. Very exciting. So we have a total of 9 now. We have 3 adults and 6 youngsters. So we'll pull around here, and I need everybody to be back down here about 25 minutes or so. And when you do come down, if you remember, please wait by the shelter, and I'll pull around 21 and pick everybody up. So let's have everybody try to be down here, let's say, about 1:30 or so. And we'll, if you could, please be down here at 1:30, and then we will make our way, finish the rest of our tour, and head on up to the overlook. So about 25 after you start heading down, and that'll put us right on time. We'll try and get up there so everybody can get on the patio. Now remember, this is our final stop.
All the gates make me think of Jurassic Park. All I can think of is Jurassic Park with all the gates. I don't see anything, do you? I see nothing.
There.
Oh, there's some cheetahs, right?
No, those
Oh.
are dogs.
Oh.
Is that Everly again? Is she back already?
We put cheetahs around this one, but we may not have to go up over the top.
Oh, yeah. African painted dog, that's what she said. That's what that is. So if they come out, it's hot.
Hot there. Well, some of them are out in the shade.
Oh yeah, look at they're all inside.
Yeah, but look over here.
I know there's 2 right there, or 4.
Yeah,
Several, well 2.
this must be the prime spot then. Pretty.